In today's video, I'm going to show you a wine cellar Friax system, how it's built, how to set it up, how to use it, and what not to do. So this is the Friax condenser. So if I twist it, this is on the side. So the right hand side, you've got your electrical connections, pipe connections, and the handle. The actual condenser coil is the new type one. You've got the hinges for the cover, and then on this side you just have a handle. Okay, now to open the cover you need to loosen up that bolt and the bolt on the other side, and you're gonna get access to the front of the unit, which is quite clever. So let me do this. When you open that up, it's like a car bonnet. You even get this little support in here, and as you can see, it's a very simple refrigeration system. You've got an EC fan. This is important to remember that it's an EC fan, and I'll tell you why. You've got small receiver dryer, standard compressor, a compressor heater. You've got a HP, LP, and that's it. That's all it is. So let me show you the electrics. They utilize the standard box which comes with a compressor, and that's it. These are the wires, very neatly installed. Okay, so let me zoom that in now. So with this electrics, what you have, I mean, you don't even need to really know what you've got in here. All you really need to do is to follow those numbers and letters on that side, okay? These correspond to the numbers and letters in the control unit, okay? So you just follow the cables and connect them to the relevant positions. But just quickly, that is your compressor heater, that's your neutral, that is the HP and LP, which ultimately goes to the compressor relay. Okay, that's your power supply to the condenser fan, earth, that you leave blank, that you leave blank, and then you've got those three terminals which goes to your condenser fan controls. And lastly, you've got this loose cable, that's the condenser temperature sensor. You have to connect that to the controller, otherwise you won't be able to control the condenser fan. So the cables you need to run between the control box and the condenser are 2-core cable 0.5 mil for the temperature sensor, 3-core cable for condenser fan controls, and 5-core cable 1.5 mil for the main supply. I suggest to test the drain water connection, the original one, as we had this leaking before. So just to put a piece of pipe and just to pour the water in. Now from the experience, this seal here was leaking. It seems to be very good, but we had that leaking, I think, twice or 3 times. So it's good to double check by putting water in that it's not leaking. Once we open the panel, we're gonna see the evaporator. We've got the expansion valve. We've got the water connection for the humidity control. We've got this drainage point, which we've discussed earlier. We have our fan, and then we have the electrical box. The pipes connections are on the side. So from that point, all we have to do is to connect the 2 fridge pipes, cable to the electrical box, and water supply for the humidity control. I also suggest to just inspect the product, because I've noticed in quite a few places little things like, for example, that rubber gland it's not fitted properly. There's a few places like that where it's good to just give a quick inspection and correct it. So the water kit comes with the hose. You will have two the water adapters. You've got a filter protection valve, that's a limiting valve. You've got a shutoff valve, and then you've got this block valve. In case you've got a leak, that will block the water. You have to remember, when you get this product, the valve settings must be set to the minimum. I think it's a 0.5, it says in the manual. So that goes on your tap. Then you put your adapter on this. Then you run your line, put the shutoff valve. Then you put your filter with the correct direction. And then you put your adapter on that element, and that's it. Just remember to test it. So let's see what we've got in the control box. So we've got nicely described terminal blocks. All we need to do is just to connect it into the wiring. The connections here are, you've got A, B and C, and you've got other letters. These correspond exactly to the same numbers as in the control box. So what you need to have is 3 core cable of 1 mil square minimum to connect to ABC. And then you need 5 core cable 1.5 mil to connect for the rest of them. And all you need to do is just to follow the letters and the numbers corresponding with the letters and numbers in the control box. And that's it. So let's see the inside of the room with a thermal camera. The room is currently at 12 degrees. And this is the evaporator. This is the back of the evaporator. Just kicked in. So we are inside of this test wine cellar room with an installed evaporator. It's a Friax evaporator. Now I've replaced the side panel with the see-through element, so we can see everything what's inside. Don't mind the cables and the installation quality, because it was only a quick installation to test the performance and provide the information of how to connect everything. So at the moment we have about 12 degrees C. Now this system was set since Friday. We got Sunday today, so since Friday it was set to 12 degrees, and on the app we've got this sensor here. So this sensor is registering the temperature and the humidity. The humidity was set to 65% and the temperature was set to 12 degrees, and this is what we got. So as you can see, it's pretty consistent in terms of the temperature. Now the humidity, I can't really zoom it, but if you can see, it's, so the settings was 65%, but you can see it's dropping down to about 55, and then going up to almost 70%, and then it's dropping down again to about 55, then again just over 70. You can see you've got approximately 15% difference between the lowest point and the highest point. So this is what you should really expect. As we go in towards the end, this is where I was playing a little bit more, so it might not be as accurate, but yeah, this is what you should expect with that system. The temperature settings was 12. We've got 13. And then go down to 12. Then go up 13. Yeah, we got 14 degree. Going down to 12. It didn't really go below 12 degree. And the set point was 12 degree. Now, important detail is to make sure you put insulation all the way to the end. If you don't insulate that suction pipe, you're gonna get drips everywhere, and this is where you can cause a lot of damage on the furniture. You don't need to insulate a liquid line, as you will never get a condensation on that one. Also, you need to make sure your ducting, at the moment I have no ducting in here, but you need to allow sufficient size ductwork and the outlet, the grill or the diffusers, not to reduce the airflow. If you reduce the airflow too much, that will cause the evaporator to freeze up. The system will have to go into the defrost more often and you lose performance. So right now we've blocked the airflow on the discharge side. We only allowed just a tiny hole, so that will imitate incorrectly fitted grill or ductwork. And I want to show you what's going to happen if we maintain that installation. You can see a large amount of water on the coil, which will start freezing up, and that will be blocking the entire evaporator. So let me show you what I've done in terms of blocking the outlet. So if you look at the outlet, so now I'll show you what's happening with the suction line. So you can see that valve and pipe is frozen. That means that the liquid refrigerant is coming back to the compressor, and it may damage it if we leave it like that for a long period of time. So that's obviously the first indication, but the evaporator inside of the unit will get frozen as well. So that's why we need to make sure that the airflow through the evaporator is sufficient. As you can see, that all the pipes, the suction just after the expansion valve which goes into the evaporator, everything is now frozen. And if we would leave it for a long period of time, the entire evaporator will freeze up and it will need a defrost. Now I want to show you what pressure this fan can produce if you start closing up the ducting. That will reflect your installation, your duct installation, if you undersize the duct or you create a smaller grill. So this is what you're gonna get, okay? So I start slowly closing this up and you can see what sort of pressure is building up, okay? So now we are about half closed. That generates nearly 50 pascals. And as we go up, we've got 68, 70 pascals. Now we've got like probably 3/4 closed, and we are 111 pascals. Now, well, probably, so we close it up now probably about 90%. That generates 220 pascals, and obviously the airflow is much reduced now. If we close it almost completely, well, if we close it almost completely, that's 208, 350, 375 pascals. and you can hear how noisy that is. This is obviously on the full speed. Drop it to probably 40% open, and the pressure dropped to 40, just below 40 pascals. So that is the end of the video. I'm Marek from MTP Cooling, and if you need any more information or you have any question about the Friax system, please write the comment section below. And don't forget to press the bell button and subscribe, so you will be notified every time I'm posting a new video.